Okay. All right. So just a few things to note first, and then I'm going to walk you through a new system that we have set up for checking the number of obituaries. That's hopefully a little bit easier than the emails. And then Michael is going to walk you through some changes for sports. So the holiday schedule, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, if you're working those, you should know what you're doing, and that schedule is updated. The schedule for New Year's Day is updated. Joe will have New Year's Eve updated by the end of the night tonight. So if you're working any of those days, we'll have that information to you today. For, Joe sent an email out about NDNA, the North Dakota Newspaper Association newspaper contest. Please look that over and get your entries to Joe sooner rather than later. Joe has a vacation planned in January, and so we would like to get all of those dealt with before Joe leaves, because otherwise I'll have to take care of them. And you guys know how I hate to do work. So get those to Joe as soon as you can. I keep bringing up Joe. Joe is also going to go through tonight all of our fillers to make sure there are no modulus fillers left, and also to make sure there are no fillers for political letters left. We probably won't have political letters again until 2026. So please make sure that you are not using a political letter filler or a modulus filler, because those are both outdated. They don't exist for us right now. Another note about opinion page while we're talking about political letters. We've had multiple instances lately of, as a designer is adjusting the formatting, Mary said, what about the rink fillers? Yeah, we should probably scrap those too. Good thinking, Mary. Yes, because yes, the Rink Live has officially been, whatever we're going to say there. So yes, let's not use those either. Joe, can you take care of that when you're going through as well, please? Thank you. Anyway, as I was saying, when designers are copying and pasting to format letters properly, people are retyping the name of the letter writer, and in doing that have introduced misspellings, just changed people's names, swapped the names between two letters, stuff like that. So please be paying very close attention to that as you are doing that, and always copy and paste the names. Do not retype anything that you can copy and paste, especially when it is someone's name, because speaking as a sternod, so many of us have such weird names, and it is totally normal and understandable that when you type them, you'll type them wrong, but it's not acceptable for us to do that. So make sure you're copying and pasting those so we don't keep having that issue with stuff. For the holidays, again, we've got the schedule coming together. I sent an email out requesting some volunteers. We still need volunteers for some dates for this weekend and for next weekend. And then we could use an additional person to work on Christmas Day. So please let me know if you are available to work any of that. Again, it does not need to be a full shift. If you're just available for, like a few hours on Saturday, that's fine. We just have a bunch of advanced stuff over the weekend that we need to get done in order for us to be in a good place on Monday, because on Monday we have normal Monday stuff plus all the Tuesday stuff. So we have to get as much done in advance as we possibly can so that we are not just really strapped on the Monday and then on Sunday night as well for that. So please let me know if you're available to do a few hours. And for those of you who have already volunteered, thank you. I love you. I'm not actually sending Christmas cards this year, but if I were, you'd be on my Christmas card list. So, okay, let's get to this obituary stuff. One question we have had, so everything's divided into two categories. there's obits, and then there's what they call class, which is essentially all the other notices. So it's the milestones, the business announcements, babies, whatever. And those class category things, there are no bookings available for those in the e-paper. So milestones, business announcements will only be available for print. So when you're putting together a print publication is when you need to be looking out for those. The volume of those that we get is really not much, especially compared to obituaries, and just on the back end setup stuff and money, it made a lot more sense to just only offer them on print days. So I know there's been a couple of questions about that. I will have by the end of the day our daily assignment spreadsheet updated with an additional tab. That tab will be all of the deadlines for that paid content, and that'll be marked as either obit or class. And so you can reference that. Most of the deadlines are the same. The ones that change the most are those class ones, just because we had a number of papers where like the milestones and the business announcements deadlined at different times. And so those all deadline at the same time now for each pub. So look at that once I get it there, and then let me know if you have any questions. All right. I am going to okay, I will send this link out after the meeting as well. So this is our new report from Column instead of from Modulist. So I'll send you all this. It's just a Looker Studio, which is some kind of a Google product. This page does not auto refresh itself or auto update numbers on it. So every time you go to look at this, even though you're probably just going to have this tab open since you'll reference it multiple times a day, please make sure that you always hit the refresh button and like manually refresh the page just to be sure that you're not missing anything. So then what you can do here is go to publication. So I'm going to look for the Duluth News Tribune, and you see that when I put my mouse over it, it gives me this only option. If I click that, it'll just uncheck all of those other boxes. So I only see Duluth. That just makes things faster. And then for publication dates, it gives me the same option. So I'm just going to look at what's available for the 19th. So as you can see, the first one, it says obituary, 12 inches, and then it says order count 2 right there. That does actually mean that there are 2 different obituaries. I'm not sure if it's because funeral homes book more than one thing at the same time, or that Modulist is approving things in batches, that we end up with this order count that is something other than 1. The best way to get an accurate count, especially, on the print days, you're going to have a lot more than just a few things here, is if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you're going to see this. So this is 1 to 2 out of 2. So whatever this last number is not accurate. Okay, it was accurate when I checked it. Sorry about that. I will work on getting that fixed so that it's accurate. For now, I guess you're just going to have to manually count this in the right column. We are working on getting improvements made to this. So that is one I'm going to put right at the top of the list because it was there before, so it should be there again shortly. If there's anything else that as you're working with this, you see that would make it easier to use, please let me know. One thing also to note with this is at the bottom left right here, it says data last updated. Please make sure before you take something from here that this time is half an hour or later from the deadline for the content. So if the obits are due at noon, then it needs to be 12:30 before we pull that. Right now, this is updating kind of randomly, but in the next few days, it should be set so that it updates every single minute, which will make things a lot easier for us. The nice thing about this is that it automatically updates as people are booking things into the system. So, if you're working on this paper and, there's still 2 hours until deadline, you can look at this and see, okay, there's 26 inches booked so far. So I don't need to save 3 pages, or whatever it is. It can give you an idea, sort of like when we had the inch count reports in Modulist that you could look at to get an idea of what was going on. So this also, you can search by order type, because for this, there's only obituaries booked. But if there's other stuff booked, you will have the option to select class. So if you're working on like the features section, and so you're looking for all the milestones and stuff, you can just select class so that you only get those. Okay. Questions?
Does this mean we don't have to check Modulist anymore at all now?
The last thing for Modulist is booked for the 22nd. So we need to continue to check Modulist through the weekend. And then starting next week, everything's in column. We will also still have that email that we set up. And I'm going to make sure that we continue to have that email until we've worked out any bugs with this report, and we make sure that this report is, updating more often, and that any changes that we need are made to it. For right now, I would say look both places. So double check that column manifest email and look here. If something does not match, let the hub manager know right away, and we'll look into that. So, but I don't want to get rid of those reports in the email until we're sure this is working properly, just in case, because as you guys know, I take obituaries very seriously. Other questions? Okay. I'm sure as you're working with this, as you're going through, and as we just keep getting used to column, that you'll have more questions. So please just let me know whatever questions you have. As soon as you have them, I will get them updated or answered. If I know the answer, I'll answer it right away. And if I don't, I'll let you know. And then I will talk to column and get answers as quickly as possible. Please make sure you're letting us know of any problems or issues that we run into so that we can get stuff fixed right away. I know it's December is a super fun time to change the system to a new one, but we're working to make sure that any kinks that we have are worked out. So please let me know if you have any questions or anything else on that. Okay, Michael, we'll go over to you then to walk us through some sports stuff.
All right. Second. All right, so this is for everyone that has to do print scoreboards. We have to make a small change in our process because the e-paper is not reading PDFs very well. So we're gonna just change a little bit on one of the steps. So normally, once you've compiled your scoreboard, taken stuff from the national board, done whatever you needed to do, all of those steps are still the same. It's just how we're exporting the file now that's going to be different. Normally, we would go up to scripts and do this make PDF script. We're not going to do that anymore. We are going to go to file and export. So once you get here, you want to make sure that it's exporting what you want. But the main purpose right here is to save as JPEG down here. Okay, I'm just going to save it the same way I did before. And once you hit save, yep, that's fine. That's just because I already have a file named that, so it won't happen. So here's the dialog box that we have to worry about, right? We want to make sure that we are matching all of these particular categories in the dropdown. If anybody needs this, I have this link updated. This is on our guide to guides. So all the way down here, I have all this information with screenshots, so you can double check all of these entries. This can be CMYK or gray. Just because there's no art, I figured that gray is fine. Should it be a day with heavy sports and, maybe this whole page is taken up? I think dropping it to high is okay if for some reason we have any problem getting it to Roxen due to the file size. So once you export that, it'll be just like anything else. Then we'll need to create a story file. We'll need to load that up as a image, and we need to have scoreboard in the kicker field. So just the steps before and the steps after are all the same. It's just how we're generating that file. So I'll do it one more time quickly, and we do have this in the guide. So file and export, make sure that you're able to find it. Doesn't necessarily matter if it's on your desktop or your downloads, anywhere that you're able to find it. Make sure that it says JPEG down here. There are some other options. So make sure that it says JPEG and click save. When you get this dialog box, you'll want to make sure that it's maximum. This is just what the normal one was. I never changed this and we didn't have any problems. So then just resolution, I had 300 in color space. I have gray or CMYK. And just hit export, then we load it up as we normally would. If you have any questions about that, let me know. And if you need this link to all of these little guides that we put together when we started Roxen, I can help you out with that too. Okay.
The link is also in all of the morning emails. It's at the bottom if you're ever looking for it.
Thank you. So we're trying to make tabs a little bit easier within Roxen. Before, they weren't showing up in our Roxen editor. Now we've gotten some help that if there's tabs in a Google Doc and you copy and paste it to the Roxen story editor, all of those tabs will stay in there. So we don't have to go in and manually add the tabs or anything like that. So with that step being easier and taking something off our plate, I've created a couple styles so that in an effort that we can just kind of make those tabs work and not have to go into InDesign and change them all up. So I'm just going to run through those styles and show you guys how they look on the page really quick. All right. So if anyone hasn't seen it before, these arrows right here, these are the tabs. And these will be your visual cues to what style to use. Okay. So these will come over with the copy and paste. If you ever need to add a tab in there for any reason, you can click on this little omega, insert special character, and then it's right here at the bottom, tab. Okay, if you ever need to add one in case the editor, accidentally missed it in the Google Doc or anything like that. So again, these will be your visual cues. You can see that this particular set has one tab. This particular set has two, 3, and so on. Okay, we have styles for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm just going to quick run through those really quick. So if you just kind of select all your text, drop down to Sports Agate 1, that would be 1 tab. Sports Agate 2, 1 second, sorry, would be 2 tabs. Okay. 3, 4, and 5. Okay. 5. So and we'll update on the page. Currently, we're just kind of worrying about this for the actual scoreboards. If we run into anything where we need this added to stories or anything like that, that's just a conversation we'll need to have at a little bit of a later time. But you can see that all those tabs work without much effort. I mean, you can go in and make these sort of things, subheads, but that's not really what I'm trying to show now. So we have the 1 tab, the 2, 3, 4, and 5, all working, all set to a particular one. You'll just have to kind of keep in mind that when you have 4 and 5 tabs, any long word, if it's Minnesota State Moorhead, it's going to kind of bump down some of that stuff. So either we'll need to kind of chat with an editor how we can adjust those words so that they'll fit within the column, or if you need to go in and edit in InDesign, you can. But hopefully this cuts down on at least some of that and helps you guys get that stuff done a little bit quicker. I know that this will help at least with some of the stuff on Saturday where we have like the buys and stuff where they have tons of other things. So these will not be ready quite yet, only because I'm updating the base docs. Once I feel that all of those base docs have been updated, I'll add them so that they show up in Roxen. But right now they're so I'm hoping to have it done by Saturday so that everything will work over the weekend and starting next week. But if there's any issues with them, just let me know. You know, I kind of have to set them specifically to where I want them. So there's going to be cases where they don't work, but hopefully it cuts down on some of the time. So if you guys have any questions about those, just kind of a heads up that you will see these agate 1, 2, 3, and 4. I left our normal agate style in there. So this doesn't have any tabs in it. This is more for just when the results are at the bottom of the story, when there's a long list of honor roll and the editor wants us to run it in agate. That's more what that first one is used for. And then the other one, the number at the end, is how many tabs that it can hold. And again, these little arrows are just your visual cues on how many tabs the particular style has. Again, we have 1 through 5. So if there's any questions on that, feel free to let me know. It still has all of the other styles that you would need in there. And just for one more reference, right now this will just be with the sports scoreboard template. But if it's needed elsewhere, if we're running into it, you know, at the end of Grand Forks stories a lot, then I'll certainly add that somewhere else. Just let me know. Thank you.
All right, what questions do y'all have? Or other issues to bring up? Mary asked if there's a way of knowing who on FNS is working when we have questions for them. They are on our calendar. So it should say on there who is working. Emily, are we including that in the daily email still?
Yes, we should be. Is there
Okay.
something where that didn't happen? I
Yeah,
noticed
I
this
know
morning
it's
that
been a
Alyssa
little bit,
was
difficult on the FNS side right now, just because Alyssa is out for a significant chunk of time on medical leave. So they're just trying to do their best to fill some stuff in. But yeah, if you look in the daily lineup email, and then you can check against the schedule on the calendar, because that should be updated and accurate. And if you can't figure it out or you're not sure, just let the hub manager on duty know and let them know what the issue is and make it their problem instead of yours. The best Slack room for them is, I think it's the hub room right now still. So that team room. So the pod hub team room. The same one where we say when we go on lunch break and stuff. If you look in that room that is just called pod though, whoever's on duty may have just posted recently. So that might be like the faster way to see what's up. Okay. Other questions or anything? Okay, we'll go ahead and let you get back to your day then. Thank you all for being here. We have a meeting scheduled for New Year's Day. I'll be here. That's my holiday. So if you wanted to meet, I'm available, but I'll probably just delete it off the calendar so you guys don't have to see me again. If I don't talk to you before then, I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season, whether you celebrate these holidays or not. Stay safe, stay warm, all that stuff. Thanks, everybody.